Hello fellow booktubers, my name is Lauren, you're watching Dreams Books Courage, and today is Top 5 Wednesday, this one being about futuristic books. And all of the futuristic books I'm going to be showing you today are all dystopians, which makes a lot of sense because of course as humans we want to build a utopia for ourselves, but utopians often turn into dystopians because of flawed systems. So a lot of these worlds actually do have the possibility of happening in the future, which is super scary but also pretty cool. But before we begin, I wanted to introduce you guys to my adorable little kitty, Nyx, who, as you can see, is just super adorable. And I named her after the goddess of night. So now let's go ahead and get on to the books. So in the 5th place we have a futuristic dystopian world, of course, and this is actually one of the frontrunners of the dystopian genre, which is 1984 by George Orwell. And although this book isn't really technically futuristic right now, whenever it was published in 1949, it was of course considered very futuristic within the year of 1984. Obviously, the things that happened in 1984 never did happen, but they still definitely have the possibility of happening. This book takes place primarily in England, and what has happened is that pretty much all knowledge that the government does not want people to have, they do not have. They can't write, they can't watch anything other than government TV, and Big Brother is always watching. They have cameras in every single one of their houses, and so they are always constantly being monitored. And in our current world of technology, it's definitely close to happening. We all have cameras on our phones and our laptops. There are always cameras around us, so it's pretty scary to think about if we were being monitored 24/7, because I think within our world currently, that is definitely a possibility. In the 4th place spot, we have the world of Divergent by Veronica Roth. And within this world, something terrible has happened. And I don't really want to say much about what has happened because you don't really learn that until the final book of Allegiant. But basically, in this world, you're sorted into one of 5 factions. And those factions are Abnegation, Candor, Dauntless, Erudite, and Amity. And the rules of the factions are pretty strict. Your factions are closer to you than your family is. And the crazy thing about this world is that I have actually been to Chicago, and it's just a beautiful city. And to think of it like this very destructive place in which people have to be sorted out to make sure they don't kill each other is just a very, very crazy thought. But it's also very interesting to think if your entire life was based on a personality test. In the 3rd place spot, we have the scary world that is also very, very realistic. And that is The Hunger Games world by Suzanne Collins. In this world, we have the upper class, which is the capital, and they pretty much control all these people's lives. They're the ones who really make the money in this world, and they can just spend however much money they want on entertainment, especially the entertainment that happens once a year within the Hunger Games. They're not really feeling any pain whenever they're watching these kids murder other kids on the television. And then you have the 12 districts, and these people are the ones who are actually the hardworking citizens, and they're just kind of scrounging around to get by while the government is being very, very harsh on their lives. And they could be making so much more money with the jobs they're doing, but they're barely making anything to get by. And you could definitely compare the Hunger Games with the world that we live in right now. Because I live in the United States, I would probably be considered part of the capital. And then we have countries like Africa where they barely get by, and that'd be more of what the districts are like. So although this is a futuristic world, it is quite realistic to the lives we are currently living. In 2nd place, we have Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and this world is primarily controlled by drugs that all the citizens have to take every single day, and their forms of entertainment really come in the forms of sexual pleasure. So basically this world is controlled by drugs and sex, but they take away all of the emotions, so you don't really feel love, or you don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or anything like that. There is no such thing as relationships within this world. The government runs the world by giving everyone pleasure, and so they don't really realize the messed up things that are happening within their lives unless they stop taking the pills, which is what the main character ends up doing in this book and why he realizes that this world is so corrupt. But within a world in which everyone is happy with it because it's a sort of utopia, because they never feel any pain or sadness, it is hard to classify this world as either a dystopian or a utopian because most of the citizens really are happy because they are being controlled by drugs. This world is definitely close to our own, in a world in which we really operate off of pleasure and entertainment, and I think most of the people on the planet would not be very sad if our world was controlled like this. In the number 1 spot, we have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, and this book has a very interesting world in which clairvoyance is a very real thing. And what I mean by clairvoyance is that these people can actually reach the spirit world, and anyone who's considered a clairvoyant within this world is pretty much incarcerated because they are considered unnatural. And within this novel, it's actually taking place within 2059, and it's controlled by an evil government known as Scion. And Scion really is like a communist dictatorship sort of government, but I would say that this even mirrors some countries nowadays, like North Korea and Cuba, where they're being controlled under these dictatorships. And I think that this kind of mirrors what lives they had to live. These people are taught that clairvoyants are bad, even though they're just like everyone else. They just have very special powers. But this just features a very awesome futuristic look at what our world could become. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I haven't read very many futuristic books that are not considered dystopian, so if you guys have any recommendations for me, I would definitely love to hear those down below. And I'm super excited that I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. I only have about 150 more to go, and whenever I do reach 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing the TMI tag for you guys. So I would really love it if you guys spread the word about my channel, and especially if you decide to subscribe to me. I just want to thank every single one of you guys for subscribing to me because you just make me so happy. So thank you all for just being part of this journey with me. And now I'm gonna go get back to reading.